Hello and welcome back to the final MiguelOdon MMA Awards list. As you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, it says MiguelOdon MMA Awards finale. You can probably already tell by the title, but best finishes of 2024 for the last day of January? Or is there 31 days? First on the list of best finishes of 2024, I think I have 10. So number 10 is Anthony Fluffy Hernandez submits Roman Kopylov via rear naked choke in the battle for dark horse of the middleweight division. I think I've talked about Fluffy Hernandez a few times on my channel. I'm not quite sure. Kind of forgetful individual. But this match kind of solidified that he was the dark horse, that everyone was going to probably dodge him. People were going to be scared because, as a lot of people say, myself included, he is kind of like the Khabib of the middleweight division. He has a suffocating pressure. He puts it on you. He drowns you. He exhausts you. And look what he did to Roman Kopylov, who's also a really great fighter in the middleweight division. Might need a little bit more wins to get back up there, but you know what? No shame in losing to quite possibly the most dangerous individual in the middleweight division outside of the top 10. So props to Roman Kopylov. And props to Fluffy Hernandez for submitting him via rear naked choke. This was an awesome finish. The whole fight was awesome. It was like kind of even. But then, Fluffy Hernandez imposed his will, drowned him, took him down, suffocated him, gassed him out, you know what I'm saying? And got the finish. The reason why I put this at number 10 is because Roman Kopylov, they were both unranked at the time. And like I said, they were fighting for the title of dark horse in the middleweight division. And Fluffy Hernandez showed that he was that person. Roman Kopylov is a good fighter, but he's not quite up there in dangerousness and skill like a Kyle Bohio or something like that. Anthony Hernandez went on to fight Michel Pereira next. That's like a step up, but I would say Roman Kopylov is probably more well-rounded than a Michel Pereira. As we all see, that man likes to flip and do shit. So, good finish, but not the best finish, but it does deserve a spot on this list. This was an insane finish. Shout out Fluffy Hernandez. Anyway, next up we got Kayla Harrison silencing the haters and submits Holly Holm via rear naked choke. Pretty sure this happened at UFC 300. And the reason why I put this on here is because we all know, you might hate on me for being like, oh, silencing the haters. Kayla Harrison has always been that guy. Yes, we know that now. And obviously when she joined the UFC, there was a little bit of questions like, can she handle the level of competition? She's been fighting in the PFL her whole career. So this kind of answered the question. Sure, you say whatever you want about Holly Holm. She was old, she was over the hill, whatever, she was washed, whatever. She's still one of the more exciting and dangerous fighters in the women divisions. So I still feel like this has some gravitas to it. This finish was awesome. A lot of people were thinking that Holly Holm was going to steamroll, myself included. I was just like, I don't know if Kayla Harrison can handle the level of competition in the UFC. And then Kayla Harrison goes out there and submits Holly Holm via rear naked choke. And it was impressive, because Holly Holm has a decent ground game and really good striking. But it was kind of all Kayla Harrison in this match. And, shout out her. I have been silenced. I wasn't necessarily a hater, but I was mainly like, there's a lot of questions. Can Kayla Harrison compete with the competition in the UFC? We all know, as we can see with the Kai Asakura stepping up to fight Pantoja, there's levels to this game. And Kayla Harrison showed that she was on those levels. So, shout out Kayla Harrison. Shout out Holly Holm. I know she's not a part of the UFC anymore, but shout out her. Anyway, next up, number 8. Islam Makhachev submits Dustin Poirier via Darce choke in an all-out war. So, you may be like, what? This deserves to be higher. My reasoning, my criteria for this list, the reason why I put it down here, it's still a great finish, amazing finish, but it was an all-out war. This fight was on my top 10 or whatever, top 12 or whatever, however many fights I had. This was on my top fights of 2024. This fight was amazing, great fight, and even a great finish. Dustin Poirier proved a lot of us wrong that he's not over the hill yet. He's still got some life left in him. It's just unfortunate that everyone who's been champion, he hasn't been able to beat. So shout out Dustin Poirier, potentially one of the greatest fighters to never win a title. Shout out Islam Makhachev for submitting him via Darce choke. And that was pretty intense. It was like he was trying for that submission. Like, he was trying to grapple with Poirier throughout the whole fight. So this finish didn't come easy, but that's also why it kind of makes it even better. Like, you know, you have to fight for it. It's like, excuse me, Dustin Poirier did a lot better on the ground than we thought he was going to do. Great finish. Great fight. Like I said, I think this is number 8 on the list. So shout out both of these guys. Shout out this finish. Awesome fucking, he like swept Dustin Poirier's leg, immediately went in for the Darce. Fucking perfect. Perfect technique. I mean, obviously, he's champion for a reason, and I'm just a couch warrior over here, so he doesn't need much praise from me, but shout out Islam Makhachev for submitting Dustin Poirier. Anyway, next up, also, like in the best fights of 2024, do yourself a favor and watch all these finishes. Insane. The skill these guys have, the technique, athleticism, it's kind of off the charts. It's insane. Anyway, next up, Vinicius Oliveira, beautiful fly knee to Bernard Sopai. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. I'm pretty sure this was in the second round of their fight. It was a 3-round fight. It kind of came out of nowhere. Beautiful. I think Bernard was bouncing off of the cage. I think I've seen this a few times. Demetrius Johnson did that to Adrian Moraes, I'm pretty sure, where they bounce off and then you jump in there with a fly knee, kind of catch that momentum. Perfectly placed, brutal as fuck. When this dude just flopped to the ground like a fish, I was just like, holy shit. That's the kind of finishes we want to see. The holy shit finishes where you're like, holy fuck, that came out of nowhere. That's devastating. This is why we love the sport, and this is a perfect example of that. Like I said, beautiful fly knee, perfect fucking technique. Look like a bird flying through the air, you know what I'm saying? Awesome for Vinicius Oliveira. Can't wait to see more of him. And, you know, Gila Bernard Sopai. I don't know if he's had a fight since this, but shout out him. Next up, I think, what is that, number 7? So we're on number 6. Fares Ziam, I'm pretty sure. Fares Ziam? Don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry if I butchered it. I tried my best. Knees Matt Frivola into the shadow round. Okay, this one was insane. They were in the clinch. It kind of fucked up, but it kind of adds to the finish because Frivola's corner was yelling. I'm like, turn around, bro, turn around. Turns around into a fucking knee. Like, look at this right here. Boom, right in the fucking face. Flush knee, out cold. Ridiculous. And it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, they were just doing clinch work. Even like, obviously, Frivola was kind of getting fucked up this whole match. But that knee came out of nowhere, and it just perfectly caught him out cold. Fucking damn. Like another brutal one. These are with. But that's what we like, you know. It's like the Gladiator pit. We just want to see violence, and these guys deliver. But damn, I remember when Matt Frivola was in the rankings, and he was going to potentially fight Paddy Pimblett. Now he's... Damn. Hopefully a Matt Frivola resurgence can come. But shout out Fares Ziam, or however you pronounce his name. That knee was vicious. Very devastating. Like, almost killed this man. Like, intense fucking... finish. It's just gives you goosebumps when you watch it live, you know what I'm saying? But great finish, great fucking. I'm pretty sure this got a bonus if I'm not mistaken, but well deserved. But yeah, picture perfect in the clinch, out of nowhere knee. Look at that fucking athleticism, look at that flexibility. He got that knee high up as fuck. And also, I guess, shout out Matt Frivola's corner. I guess they weren't really expecting that to happen. You could see in the corner cam they were pretty shook when they were yelling, turn around, and then boom, right into a knee, and they're like, oh, fuck. Probably shouldn't have said that, you know. But perfect timing on Fares's part. Anyway, next up, we got Paddy Pimblett submits King Green via triangle choke. I know in this picture, and I know he kind of like switches it into an armbar, but what initially put out King Green was a triangle choke. The reason why this is like so high up, it's not because Bobby Green is like, I know this had high implications for Paddy Pimblett, because honestly, a lot of people, including myself, were going into this fight thinking that if King Green could keep it standing, he'll light fucking Paddy up on the fucking feet. We saw Paddy get kind of exposed on his first fight where he almost got knocked out, and then the Jared Gordon fight, he was kind of getting pieced up on the feet. And I don't want to say I was necessarily hoping Paddy Pimblett lost. I like Paddy. I don't mind him. He does get kind of annoying sometimes. He talks a lot. Keeps calling out Ilia Topuria, keeps calling out all these people, but like, come on, dude. But he's doing it right. He's moving up in the rankings slowly, testing himself. So far, so good. I think this was after the Tony Ferguson fight. So way better display of skill than the Tony Ferguson fight, because kind of ridiculous that he couldn't finish Tony Ferguson, and he kind of gassed out. But Tony also didn't really do anything to get up. So this was a good performance. It kind of, you know how people say you're only as good as your last fight? Paddy Pimblett is doing just fine. This performance was awesome. I'm pretty sure this happened in the first round. Beautiful fucking, I think he took him down. Beautiful transition into the triangle choke. Bobby couldn't get out. Instead of tapping, he went out on his shield. No shame in tapping, by the way. I'm not one of those idiots who are like, oh, bro, tapping is you quitting on yourself. Bro, either you're going out or you're tapping. Like, either way, it's like a checkmate situation. Like, okay, am I going unconscious or am I fucking tapping out and keeping my consciousness, you know? But, like I said, beautiful transition into the triangle choke. Paddy Pimblett's grappling is nothing to fuck with. I mean, he even switched into an armbar, but fucking King Green couldn't tap because, I mean, he was out, you know? So, shout out Paddy Pimblett. I was genuinely surprised by this. I was just like, I think Bobby Green has it in him to keep it standing. And then, no, he gets submitted. And I was just like, damn, okay, well, I just ate my words there. Thank God I didn't make a video about it. Then I would have to add it to the Poorly Aged MMA Takes Part 2. But anyway, yeah. Shout out Paddy Pimblett. Very good technique. Very good finish. A lot of us weren't expecting it. Maybe some people were expecting it because Paddy Pimblett has a really good ground game. Yeah, anyway, next up, we have, I think we're approaching the end somewhat. Alex Pereira kills Yuri Prochazka in their second outing. So there's a little bit of like, oh, was he out early stoppage in the first fight? Yuri wanted to remain respectful, and he was just like, you know what, trust the officials. I was out. But then he went on like a couple of podcasts. I think he went on Ariel Helwani, and he was saying like, oh, you know, I just wanted to, who was it? Mark Smith? Who was the referee? He was just like, you know, I didn't want to shit talk him post fight or like embarrass him or whatever Yuri said. He just didn't want to talk shit about him right after the fight, but he believes that he wasn't out. And a lot of people like he went down and he was going for a takedown. I wouldn't necessarily say he was out. He did shoot right back up. He wasn't as wobbly. In this fight, he was wobbly. This man was destroyed. This man was getting destroyed from round one. And it's funny because he could have been finished in the first round. This man got hit with like a left hook, flat on the ground. Bell rang, so he got saved by the bell. He was kind of having trouble walking to his corner. Recovered a little bit, got back up. Immediately head kick to smithereens. Boom, fell on the ground, ground and pound, boom, TKO. But the reason why I put this picture of the high kick is because that's kind of what sealed his fate. Perfect placed high kick, right to the head. Got him out cold, and then the follow-up shots were just devastating. Alex Pereira threw a lot of power in those. Yuri had a hard time standing up. Fucking domination is what it was. Like, Pereira, like, no offense to Yuri, he has nothing to threaten Pereira on the feet. I feel like he should have grappled more early. And this picture just kind of shows, like, holy shit. And he was wide open for that fucking head kick, and Pereira saw that. And I think it was like the first strike he threw in the second round that was the head kick and then led to the finish. Like, god damn, when I remember watching that, I was like, holy shit, he got knocked down in the first round. Is he recovered? And then they're standing, boom, head kick, and I was like, it's over. It's fucking, the way he just flopped down from the head kick. Yeah, man was concussed severely. And it was just perfect display on Pereira, perfect display of skill on Pereira's part. Man was barely damaged that whole fight. I think this was a short notice fight, and he showed up and then delivered that. What an intense finish. Pereira is like the king of finishes. You might see him multiple times on this list. But yeah, Pereira deserves every finish Pereira has had. Every finish Pereira has had. That's what I was trying to say. Can be argued to be on this list. I didn't put the Khalil Roundtree one on here because it wasn't as spectacular as these like right here, one head kick KO, boom. You know, obviously there are follow-up shots, but I think Herb Dean was a referee for this one. He wanted to like give Yuri a chance to fight back. Good stoppage. He realized Yuri was not coming back from that. There's no controversy in this one. You were dismantled. You were destroyed. Like I said, Alex Pereira kills Yuri Prochazka. Unfortunate, but you know, whatever. Anyway, next up we have Khamzat Chimaev steamrolling Robert Whittaker to get the sub in round one. This one hurts me. Okay, guys, can you guys Can I take the shades off? Am I done with the shame of my poorly aged takes with Khamzat Chimaev? I'm giving him praise. This was a good finish. I was not expecting it. A lot of fans were not expecting it. People were like, Robert Whittaker can do good enough to outlast the first round, and then we see the next rounds. I'm pretty sure this was a 5-round fight, and I still stand behind the statement that if it went on to the second rounds, I feel like Whittaker could have taken it. But Khamzat is like literally, without a doubt, the best first-round fighter in the UFC currently. Like, look what he did. Look what he's done to everyone in the first round. Take down, fucking submit, fucking destroyed. Just so much explosivity, so much energy, so much ferocity. I don't think you can properly train for that. This man is just an animal, literally an animal. They call him boars for a reason. But yeah, holy shit, I was not expecting this. He like broke the shit out of like Robert Whittaker's jaw. Not the jaw, he like broke the bottom row of teeth. He like pushed his teeth back. Shit was brutal. Khamzat has a crazy squeeze. This whole fucking, I don't know how many minutes it led up to the finish, maybe 2-3 minutes, but it was the most stressful anxiety thing I have ever watched being a Robert Whittaker fan. I'm like, oh my god, can Rob fucking get up? Can he survive until the end of the round? And then Khamzat sinks in this, it's not even a rear naked choke, it's like a face crank. And we saw what happened with Conor McGregor when Khabib got him in that face crank. That shit hurts, bro. You're squeezing your whole fucking jaw. I think Alexa Grasso got Valentina Shevchenko with one of those too. It's intense, and especially if you have a strong guy like Chimaev fucking squeezing on your fucking jaw. Oh god, I would have tapped too. I understand. I'm no shame to Robert Whittaker. That fucking Khamzat's just a fucking animal, a beast. And yeah, as a Robert Whittaker fan, this hurts, but I'm still a Chimaev fan. I know I talk a lot of shit about Chimaev on my channel, but I am still a Chimaev fan, and this was a good finish. I can't argue it. I can't even cope for myself or for Robert Whittaker. I just got to give credit where credit is due, and Chimaev just steamrolled him. And one of the greatest finishes of the year. This was intense. I was clapping when I watched this. I was like, yep, Chimaev, you earned that. I'm sorry I ever talked shit about you. Sorry if I ever talk shit about the glazing or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? People kind of glaze, man. Like, shit, man. But I guess it's worth, it's deserved. So, fuck, this still hurts. But really great fucking finish. I've rewatched this a few times. This is one of the finishes I go back to. Anyway, next up, I think we're approaching the end of the list, but we have Max Holloway's last second KO of Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. Everyone knows this one. I've talked about it a few times. This was on this was on the best fights of 2024 list. Max Holloway, 10 seconds left, points to the middle of the octagon, starts slugging with fucking Justin Gaethje. 1 second left on the clock, hits him with a right hand. Justin Gaethje's out cold. This was intense. I love that Max does this. He gives people a chance to come back. He's like, hey, let's point down. Let's not move. Let's just throw. Whoever goes out, goes out. You know, it's also like a show for the fans. It's exciting. It's intense. I could see an argument for this being number one, but I don't know. I think second place is good for it. But I can understand if you decide to like, no, this is the number one finish of last year. Okay, that's fair. Understand. Completely agreed. 10 seconds, point down. It was just so cinematic. It was so cinematic. The pointing down with 10 seconds left, laying it all down there in the fucking octagon. I kind of feel like that was kind of poor taste because Justin Gaethje is laying down there right now. Like, look at him on the picture. So, but you know what I mean. You're laying it all on there, going out on your shield. Both fighters had the chance of knocking out the other. Max just landed the perfect shot before Gaethje did. And honestly, I don't even know if Gaethje sat down in a shot if he would have knocked out Max. Because Max was kind of fresh this whole fight. Like, didn't take that much damage. Yeah, Gaethje was just outclassed completely. And then got absolutely destroyed. And a lot of people were like, Max doesn't have KO power. Then what is this? If he sits down on his shots, he can knock out anyone. That was a fucking hard fucking punch. So shout out Max Holloway. Shout out Justin Gaethje. Like I said, second best finish of the year. But I can understand if you want to put it at number one. Maybe once you see my number one, you will understand. And my number one finish of last year was Alex Pereira demolishing Jamal Hill at UFC 100. Same event, The reason why I put this one here is because Jamal Hill was talking. All the shit Jamal Hill talked after this fight and leading up to the fight. He brought one of the Easter Island fucking tiki things because everyone says that's what Pereira looks like, and it was like all cut up and bloody. He's like, this is what I'm gonna do to Pereira, and Pereira was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, quiet the whole time. Pereira doesn't really talk much, so he was just quiet the whole time, like, oh, okay, we'll see you on fucking Saturday, whatever, right? Jamal Hill was yapping, blah blah blah, with the theatrics, with the fucking tiki head and shit like that. And I think it was 3 minutes in the round. They barely threw. It was like a feeling out process, and then like Jamal Hill accidentally hit Pereira in the cup, and then Pereira was like, nope, let's continue the fight. Herb Dean said, all right, continue. Jamal Hill tried to throw the punch before Pereira, but Pereira moved out of the way. He pivoted, and boom, left hook, dead, bro. It was like the first actual punch thrown in the fight, and this is the result. Fucking Jamal Hill, you could like see it in the slow-mo, like he gets hit, and you can see his eyes roll in the back of his head. He falls down. Pereira follows up with some follow-up shots, and then hits his pose. It's so meme-worthy. It was so perfect. It was such a spectacular finish. A lot of people were like, bro, what is the main event of fucking UFC 300? We get the Alex Pereira one, and people were like, I don't know if it's going to be that good of a fight. And then we got one of the most iconic finishes of all time. Not even just of 2024, of all time. The build-up, the getting hit in the cup. It was just perfect. This was like a perfect mix that led to a perfect finish. And then we got perfect shots like this where Pereira's doing emoting on Jamal Hill, putting salt in the wound a little bit because, Jamal Hill likes to talk shit, bro. And then he talked a bunch of shit after the fight. Like, bro, that was unsportsmanship. I was checking if Pereira was okay. Bro, you threw the first punch. Your punch just didn't land. Even if it did land, you don't have the power to knock out Pereira. Pereira just has godlike fucking stone hand power. Fucking, it's like a sledgehammer coming at your fucking face. Just fucking intense. And this kind of solidified Pereira as that guy in the UFC. Because before this, he had the Jan Blachowicz fight. Then the Yuri Prohaska fight. And then he destroys Jamal Hill. Kind of solidified Pereira as like, honestly, I don't know how Pereira did get to number one pound for pound after this performance. Didn't take any damage whatsoever. I don't even think he got hit. I think we could look up the stats, and Jamal Hill didn't even land shit besides the cup shot. And then the first punch, literally the first punch thrown, just fucking flatlines Jamal Hill. This was just such a meme-worthy fucking KO, and it's such a good KO. Like, just looking at this picture, I remember watching this in the theater. Everyone fucking shat themselves, and everyone shot up. They're like, oh my god, literally like 3 minutes in, first punch thrown, fucking KOs Jamal Hill. And Jamal Hill was talking about, like, I could take it, bro. I could take all the shots, bro. First punch literally thrown, you're out, bro. You cannot take the power. Pereira has ridiculous power. This finish, like I said, okay, I understand Max. Like I said you guys could make an argument for it. I don't think so. This one definitely takes the cake. This was an intense finish. Perfect skill. It's just such a good moment. And definitely replayed a lot. I mean, so was the Max KO, but like, come on, like, look at this picture. Iconic, bro. Iconic fucking finish. Anyway, guys, that is the end of the list. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys think I missed some finishes. There are some decent finishes, but I feel like these ones were the best with the hype, not hype around them, but like the whole storyline leading up to it. Like I said, the Kayla Harrison one, she was still kind of fresh in the UFC. She was moving up slowly in competition. The Paddy Pimblett one, he had a piss poor performance against Tony Ferguson. Shows up, submits King Green. Even like Vinicius, Oliveira, all those guys are not ranked, but they were showing up. Perfect finishes. Made a name out of themselves because of those finishes. And yeah, just fucking awesome. And I wanted to do a mix. I know a lot of people do like best KOs, best submissions, but I'm like, they're all finishes at the end of the day, and I feel like you can grade them the same because it's almost similar. A submission is kind of similar to a knockout. Just a knockout, you can't preemptively like, oh, I could tap for this. But submission, you're either unconscious. They just give you like, hey, if you don't want to go unconscious, tap. You know, they're similar. Hence why they're called finishes. And they both display incredible skill. You need incredible skill to get a submission or a finish like that. So yeah, anyway, you guys might hate me saying it's an easy way out, like, oh, you could have made 2 lists. I feel like they deserve to be in one, because you should grade them the same, because they're finishes nonetheless. And like I said, they're kind of similar. You just don't have the ability to tap from a knockout punch. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. The finale of the MiguelOdon MMA Awards. Well, yeah, I just said it. I was going to say the finale of the MMA Awards has come to a conclusion, but I just said the finale. You guys get what I'm saying. Anyway, we got more variety videos with the boys coming out. I'm finally straying away from the UFC end of year lists. I'm coming out with a video essay, so stay tuned for that. And like I said, me and the boys are prepping some more shit. And then I got a unique video coming out related to pro wrestling, and I hope you guys will enjoy that, because I know I have a bit of pro wrestling fans in here. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the uploads on the channel, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.